Throughout this video, I'll use horizontal pillars and vertical pillars, as well as triangle scaffolding and square scaffolding. To switch between these, just bring it up and then press R to cycle. Start by building railroads over a canyon and placing pillars downwards as you need them for support. You're now going to have a bridge that looks like this. The next step is we're going to take pillars and put them in between every train track going down to the very bottom on both sides. From here, you're going to find the middle of your bridge and then go to the side that is slightly higher elevation and follow what I do. From here, we're going to connect the middle to the outside. From here to here, we're using pillars, prioritizing going horizontal until you hit a rock, then going vertical until you can do another horizontal, while keeping a clipping to a very minimal. And you're going to do this on all four sides as I do it here. Once you have it done on this side, followed by doing it on the second side. And it should be looking something like this. Now we're going back to the middle. We're bringing out our square scaffolding and going up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then place. Followed by a triangle scaffolding right underneath. And doing the same thing on the other side. Back to squares, you're going to go up 1, 2, and then over 1 with a triangle underneath. And the same on the opposite side. Once more squares, you're going up 1, 2, and then over 1, and the same on the other side, and triangles underneath once again. And then just repeat this on the other side. And now you should be looking something like this. But here's where I make a mistake. I fill this top part in with square scaffolding. Don't do this. We'll fix it later, but for now I made the mistake here. Moving back to the side, we're placing horizontal pillars too high. You're going to place these all the way until you reach a pillar on both sides. Once you have that done, we're moving on to the inside, placing horizontal pillars every 2, and you're going to take this all the way up until you reach the top. And then you'll do that on the other side as well. From here, we're going to fill in the insides using triangle scaffoldings like I do here, and bring this all the way up to the top. And on the other side as well. Progress check should be looking something like this. Remember this area here, I messed up. I filled this in. Don't do this. We'll fix this later. Moving on to the sides, we're going to fill in this area using triangle scaffolding. Kind of like we did in the middle, we're going to start making boxes. Once you get to the end, just keep doing what you're doing. Even if you don't have enough to fully fill in the box, just keep the process going. Should look like this when you're done. Then repeat this process on the other sides. And now let's fill in this bottom part here to make it look a little bit better. Here we're going to keep placing pillars upwards, going every 2. You can use the pillars that we have in the middle here as reference. So it should look just like this. Now, using the same thing that we've been doing, of using the triangle scaffoldings to make squares, let's fill all of these newly created rectangles in. And at the top row, switch to square scaffolding and fill in this last row. Then just repeat this process on the other 3 sides. So it looks a little something like this. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. And now let's fill in this area here using square scaffolding. Oh yeah, that looks good. And now let's fix that mistake I made earlier and do the same thing that we do on the sides, but in the top area that I filled in. Just follow what I do. That's much better. Now let's keep going on and fill in this side over here. For as long as we can, we're going to keep doing the same triangle scaffolding boxes that we've been doing. If we can't quite fit it, then we're going to have to do something else. Now let's just fill in the bottom part here using square scaffolding. It's kind of like what we did on the other side. We're just going to fill this in, all the parts that we can, even clipping into the rocks. Over here, we don't have the space to do the same box thing. Just follow what I do. We're going to place a row of pillars with some square scaffolding on top. And then we're just going to place this same square scaffolding then underneath. The row of pillars is going to add a nice decorational design. Oh, that is just looking so good. Now let's place some railings along the track. Make sure we'll start it along the track here. And that's just to get the right snapping points. Build all the way across and even into the stone spits a little bit for looks. We are almost done. This is exciting. This is the last step. It's a little bit grindy, but we're going to use a frontier structure skin, and then we're going to turn all the wooden railings into this version of the wooden railings, and then turn all the stone structures into the frontier version. It's going to take a little bit, but it's worth it. It's worth it. If you happen to turn one of the scaffolding into this version, just go up to it, hold E, and go remove skin. And that is it. Your train bridge is done. Wow, I love this thing. I think it looks so good. Now enjoy it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.